Subquery is basically your SQL statement embedded inside another SQL statement, that is called a subquery. Basically, query within a query. So you can see this pictorial diagram. If you consider it a single query, and within that within this query block, if you consider it as A and this one as B, then B is inside A, right?
Yes.
So A is known as your parent query and B is known as your nested query,
Yes.
like your inner query. So in subquery, basically your inner query execute first, and then the result of that inner query goes to your parent query, and your
Yeah.
parent query will give you the output.
Yes.
Okay. So let's say, for example, you need to find it out the list of employee along list of employee last name and the salary whose salary is greater than Abel's salary. Okay, just for the example. So what you need to do first? First, you need to find it out the salary of Abel, and then that salary will be put it as a condition, and then you will get the list of employees last name and the salary of those
Mm-hmm.
employee, right? Clear?
Mm-hmm.
So let's say, for example, Abel's salary is 10k, then 10k goes here, and this entire query will get executed and will give you the last name and the salary. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
that is the concept of your subquery. So first it will evaluate this query, and the output of this will goes here, and then
Yeah.
it will
Yeah.
execute and it will give you the output, right?
Yeah.
So now
Mm-hmm.
you can relate this query with respect to this pictorial diagram. Okay,
Yeah.
any doubt or confusion?
No, no, no. All fine.
Okay. So the outer query known as your parent, and the inner query known as your inner query or the nested query. You can nest n number of time, right? I
Mm-hmm.
guess the limitation is 122. 122 times you can nest your nested query, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
We need to check that one. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So we
Mm-hmm.
can we can check. I guess it is 122 or 115. I can't remember the exact count, but yes, you can
Mm-hmm.
nest your query.
Yeah.
Like the function, we can nest function within a function, we can call it in the same way. In the SQL also we can nest it.
Yes.
Okay. So everything is clear. Now the subquery is divided into two parts, like your
Mm-hmm.
single subquery and multiple row subquery, right?
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
single row subquery will give you a single output, and that will goes there and it will execute based on that. But in multiple queries, it will give you the multiple values, and that will goes into your main condition and it will execute. So always remember, in single query, as it returns a single value, we are using equality operator or this operator, right? For a range specific. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But if it returns multiple values, you need to use this
In.
in condition.
Yeah,
Why?
yeah, yeah. No, good.
Because
Thank you.
inside in you can put multiple values like 10, 20, 30,
Uh,
40, 50.
mm-hmm.
So many values you can put it and you can get that value. Okay.
Yes, 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 yes.
So the subquery is clear, right?
Yes.
So here what you have seen, like this subquery, like the inner query execute first and it gives the output to the outer one and it gets executed, right?
Mm-hmm.
But in some of the scenarios, the outer query needs to execute first, and then based on the outer query, it will execute the inner query, and the result of this inner query again feeds into the outer one and it gets executed completely. It's
Mm-hmm.
like that. So this kind of scenario is known as correlated subquery. Why? Because one query is related to the another query,
Mm-hmm.
right? So let's see some of the examples, then it will be more clear to you, right? So first, the correlated select statements, right? So if you see this one, right, this one is your outer query, okay, and this one is your inner query, okay. outer and inner query. So the outer query column 1, okay, it takes the value from the outer one, and now you see what we are doing here. From the outer one we are taking some value and we are putting it inside the inner query, then it is returning some value, and after having that one it gets executed completely. Okay.
So the outer one starts working, it then feeds the information to the inner one, and then the inner one gets executed, and then it passes the result to the outer one to complete
The
execute.
outer query.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes, that and let's say let's take one example like you need to find it out the list of all promo and history for maximum cost. So let's say for example if I execute this query, okay, if I execute this query you will see what I mean. So many data will be there, and
Hmm.
for the single promo id, for the single channel id, you will get some unit cost, right? So the query question is find the maximum cost value in the channel for all the promo and history. Okay, so history means what? I mean historical data. Okay,
Hmm.
so if I sort this data to explain the requirement, like let's see
So,
for
so from promo 999, what is the highest unit cost?
yes, not that promo id, that channel id they are asking for,
Okay, channel ID. Sorry.
right? So for this channel id you see for 2 the highest one is
116.
1163, right?
Yeah. Hmm.
Similarly for if you go to 3 it will give you the maximum id, you see 1174, right? So
Hmm.
what we are doing, we are first going to the channel, and we are taking the cost, and we are matching it, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
So in this main table we are having some cost, okay, and we are comparing it with the max cost of that channel, right?
Hmm.
If it is matching we are returning the data. So you see, first we are taking all the data from the cost table, we are
Hmm.
taking the unit cost which is this one, let's say for example this, okay, and we are doing what, the max cost id against that inner channel id as well as which is matched with the outer one. So you see a
Hmm.
dot channel id, we are referring to this table as well
Hmm.
as we are matching with this one. So
Hmm.
if I execute this query, what you will get, three records with maximum value,
Hmm.
right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so the concept is clear. I mean, first it goes to the inner one and it takes the value, then it is matching with the outer one and it is giving you the output.
Because okay, it's feed from the main one. It's feeding the channel, and
Yes.
when it runs the inner one, it
Hmm.
uses that channel to see what the highest value is,
Yes.
and then it feeds that. And if it's the highest one, then it will um, um, display it.
Yes. Yes. Exactly. Clear?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I
So,
understand.
so similarly, this one is an example of fetch. In the same way, using your correlated subquery, you can update your data as well. Okay.
Hmm.
So to update the data, I mean the same concept, your update statement, okay, and you need to first fetch the data from the outer. I mean, with respect to the outer one, the data gets fed into the inner one, and it will take the value and it will update.
Yeah.
Okay, so in the syntax is almost same. Now we have already created the table A and B. Okay,
Hmm.
let me create it
Hmm.
and let me insert the data to demonstrate the update statement. Let me do the select. You see, now
Hmm.
we are having table A and we are having table B. In table B, we are having 1, 22333, and 1 is in column B. We are having 1, we are having 1 1 1. So basically the number of occurrence it will give you. Okay, so let's say for example this one is my parent table and this one is my child table. Okay, where all the datas are there, or in another way you can say this one is my aggregated table and this one is my main table. Okay, so here we want to keep the number of occurrence of 1, the number of occurrence of 2, number of occurrence of 3, right?
So one will be 1, 2 will be
2,
2, and 3 will be 3.
3. So how we can achieve this thing? If I ask you to write down the query, how you gonna do that? So the same thing we can perform these things using your correlated subquery, where what we will do first, we will take 1, we'll go to this table, we'll do the summation, and the sum result will be updated here. Then again we'll take 2, we'll go here, we'll do the sum of it, and again we'll update the value. Similarly for 3, we'll go here and we'll do the sum and we'll come here, right?
Yeah. Mhm.
So if I execute that update statement, right, it looks like this. You see what we are doing? We are doing the sum of this from table B. What we are doing, a dot a means from this table we are taking some value and we are comparing it with this column. Okay, so when it is matching like 1, when 1 equals to 1, it gets executed, it will do the grouping and then it will update the value of the sum value, right?
So where we're doing like select sum from B where A dot A is the table, yeah?
A is the table.
No, going down where A dot A is the table and dot A is the field, correct?
Yes, A is the table and A is the field, right? So
And what is equal A then? What is that A?
yes, so from B we are taking the this, right? Sorry, this A is
Oh, okay. From B we're taking the B dot A.
yes. So more precisely, it is like that.
Wait a minute, B
Dot A.
B
Clear?
dot B dot A. Yeah.
Now it is more clear to you.
What's that next line?
This one I just shown you one example. You can remove it.
Okay.
And
What
this
is group by A?
group by A,
Meaning,
right? So exactly when you have the data like for 3, right? 3 is for like 1, 3 is for like, sorry,
oh, to get all the occurrences of 3 together.
all the occurrence of 3 together and it will do the sum of it, right?
Okay.
So for
Yeah.
that it is I put a group by, so
Yeah. I'm
that
with.
for a single group it will give a single record and it will do the grouping on top of that.
Okay. Yeah.
So if I execute this statement, what it will return according to you? 1 will be 1, 2 will be 2, and 3 will be 3
Remove
times.
3.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if I execute this query, you see.
Yeah. I understand.
So coming to the next topic, which is correlated subquery. Like in correlated subquery, in the same way you can delete the data as well, right?
Mm-hmm.
So to
Mm-hmm.
delete the data from the table, we can use the same concept, right? First,
Mm-hmm.
you need to take the ID, you need to feed it into the inner query, and it will take that some value, and it will match to the outer one, and then it will delete it,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the same way we can delete the data as well,
Mm-hmm.
right? I have not created any delete statement syntax, but yes, the way we performed, this we can delete the data as well
Mm-hmm.
in the same way. So there is no big difference. Instead of update, we just need to put the delete, right?
Can we
So
do that? Can we do
yes,
that?
yes, go ahead. You said something.
I said, can we try that? Like the delete.
Yeah, we can. So let me create this first. Okay,
Mhm.
let me update this. Okay, now
Mhm.
what we have in table A, 1 1 2 2 3 3, right?
Mhm.
If I put delete before this, so this one will be my syntax, right? You see, the three records gets deleted from table A. Now if I execute the query like select star from A, the data of A will be empty.
Mhm. Mhm.
Okay.
Mhm.
So I mean, any doubt or confusion so
No,
far with the correlated subquery?
no, no, no.